Back now, it is a political script whose are all too familiar and are prone to change like the proverbial forest. The political heat of an election more than 2 away is palpable as alignments and let's make sense of the 2027 game plan. Just a reminder of who our guest is with me in studio, Professor Peter Kagwanja, a scholar and deputy party strategy, the People's Liberation Party. Prof, we will come to the new title, but good evening and
Thank you very much.
And thank you for making time for us tonight.
Yes.
An election 752 days away, Prof, is seemingly at the heart of contest. Why is Kenya, from an observation point of view, really politicking?
Well, I think since the onset of multi-party democracy in 1992, Kenya has entered what you call perpetual campaign. But this is not uniquely Kenyan, so to say, because it is the rise of IT, particularly the emergence of social media. So you wake up to politics, you sleep, politics. Normal. But most of the times, or in the past, much of this politics has not been as robust and as confrontational as we've seen it in this term. And you remember President William Ruto was sworn in on the 13th of September. And by the 23rd of January, almost 100 days to the day, we had the worst public protests. Ever since, we have had a series of protests of what you'd call legitimate grievances of Kenyans. They were promised things that have not been met. Rising cost of living, taxation, failure to competent to deliver on health and education, the key issue.
And Prof, you say this is, the politicking part of it is normal, but this time particularly...
It has taken a very dangerous turn, which is also claiming lives of our children and also pushing our country to the edge.
And Prof, we will come to the consequences, but is this political taking shape, as some say, a natural process, or as the government claims, to be engineered by someone from somewhere?
It's a very natural process, and obviously, it is not only Kenya. You go to France, you go to many other countries. America is tinkering on the brink, and so on. So there is a downturn in the economies globally, but in Kenya, it has taken a turn because of I think the response. Sometimes the nature of leadership and its capacity to listen to the population difference. And when things are dire, leadership will determine whether the scale of tension will go up or will come down.
Needless to ask, Prof, but are you in the current regime of being...
Obviously, I've never minced my words that I supported this regime as it came in. I'm who said President William Ruto won the election in 2022 fair and square, contrary to what supporters of Raila Odinga and others were saying. We said he won fair and square. Why? Because he raised the Kenyan dream to its highest level through the Hasra dynasty, kind of campaign. But 100 days later, many Kenyans began to see that what you look like a revolution of expectation now became a new revolution, what is now morphing into the Gen Z revolution. Now, why is that? Because politics is not about what you're doing or what you think you're doing. It is how people perceive you as you're doing. And it is in politics where perception is more important than reality. The battle we've been having is that of the government trying to make the point that we have achieved, heaven for you. And the people saying, we are on the gates of hell. Can we pull back?
Is that to suppose there is a mismatch?
Yes, there's a mismatch. And the moment the government gets into the business of convincing the public that it is doing much, and the public is disputing that kind of politics is not extremely healthy. And this is where we find ourselves. This is not to say, let's be clear, that President William Ruto has not achieved anything. You'd be missing the point. Why? Because sometimes it is not even the leadership that will be required to count on the winnings, but the way the state is structured. In this republic, we have institutions which have been built over the last 60 years. They're expected to deliver. I think the problem we have had is that we have not identified the core problems in our country. We started off badly by imagining that you can tax people to prosperity. From that point on, people started rebelling. And
Prof, to the president's own defense, by his own admission, he often says as though his regime is unfairly criticized, highly scrutinized.
But that's expected, because he's one of the presidents, he's one of the two presidents who are governing under the new constitution, that's one, and two, who is governing the most enlightened generation of Kenyans. And the children who are born free. The rest of us tone ourselves down because we grew under the Moi regime, and therefore we have known how to live and coexist with the dictatorship. The rest of our children don't. They are not going to give, to shut their eye to a system when they think that is dictatorial. And therefore, it is now boiling down, it has this Ruto versus children. It's not. The issue is that this is the millennial and the Gen Z generation are those who studied literature, studied books that exposed them to freedom and grew up under Kibaki, which would be the time of plenty. So when they start to be told that there's nothing at home,
fair enough,
then it changes.
Prof, ODM leader Raila Odinga has proposed what he's terming as a national conclave, outlining what he says as a team composition of 40 people from across the 47 counties. Odinga has defended this proposal. He had a handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. He has a broad-based government now with President Ruto. He had a cooperation in 1998 with Daniel Arap Moi. He had a government of national unity with the late President Mwai Kibaki. Is this an attempt of political survival from Odinga?
I think I want to say very clearly, without mincing words, if we go this route, we'll be wasting our time. Why would I say so? After the explosion of the protests in which we saw property belonging to the former president, looted and destroyed, after the Raila Odinga's own office was vandalized, and after a lot of property, including the expressway, were vandalized, the country agreed to go to a conclave, and people started talking. You remember Kalonzo Musyoka as a chair, as a co-chair with the Kikuyu MP.
Kimani
Ichung'wah.
On the NADCO.
Yes, and they talked, we talked, and we waited for the NADCO talks. And the NADCO talks were not implemented. Then UDA started to rupture. And that disarray within the governing party ended up with the impeachment of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. Now, with that, then we entered a new area of basically contestation. Now, to say that we wanted to talk, the next question is who will be talking to who?
But isn't it the justification, Prof, from Raila Odinga that he saw, at least as per his view, a country on the edge?
But already, Raila's formula has been very, very clear. One, we will talk. For example, the bombers talk. After that, we will have a draft constitution. After that, we will have referendum. And after the referendum, we'll go to the election. You have the 720 plus days that we talked about. Two, our constitution is new. It is not even implemented the full. And actually, on the contrary, it is being vandalized or actually swept aside.
By who, Prof?
But we are really talking about a constitution. I was the director, executive director of the constitutional process, and the intellectual who was consulted at that time by the government. So if I say the constitution is being put on the back burner and you're backpedaling to the old days, I mean what I'm saying without mincing words. Therefore, to tell us that we got to go again to bombers of Kenya and then we come again with another constitutional draft and another is basically a waste of our time. We know the issues.
But Prof, is it justifiably understandable that what Odinga is saying is a country that was on the edge.
It is not. He is part of the problem, because the way you describe the problem becomes part of the problem. Why? We know for sure he himself is the one who triggered all the protests in January 23rd. And we backed him on the issue of high standards of living and met promises. And he listed all these things after coming to South Africa, from South Africa. We went again for another protest, and we listed the issue, the grievances that are there. Is it the grievances we want addressed, or is it talking? You don't talk when issues are clear. Now, Kenyans want a good delivery on health.
But is it not to be defensive of any kind, Prof, yes. But is it not through talking that things can be made up?
But talking in order to bring us to what end? The election is coming, but in the meantime, what needs to be done is the government of President William Ruto to show Kenyans that it is doing something, and there is an opportunity. I told another forum that should President Ruto deliver on virtually all the things that he promised, if within the remaining time, if he does it, then you'll see the temperatures will go down. If the idea of abductions and all the things that we are mentioning go down, you'll see change. Kenyans change very quickly. I was with Kibaki's government as advisor in 2008. And 2008, 2009, there was a lot of tension. And after that, you see changes. But it will depend on whether he's able to change. The threat now is not to change, but to look for scapegoats. Let's face it, Kenyans want three things. They want a moral order, an order that is governed by rule of law. They want a system which is predictable in terms of doing good, no corruption, clean hands government. Two, they want social justice. Social justice means I have gone to school, can I get a job? And if I don't get it, can it be explained to me? And finally, Kenyans are crying out for prosperity. They are tired of poverty.
Similarly, Prof, in your analysis of what Kenyans want, a conclave is not part of it.
No, it is not, because a conclave cannot deliver prosperity.
Fair enough, Prof. Let's talk of still Raila. Yeah. He appeared on an interview last night at a media outlet. He said, and I quote, "We have said that we are in the broad-based government until 2027. We did not say that we are going to work with UDA beyond 2027. Is this Odinga signaling a potential sixth term at the presidency?
That he wants to be a candidate?
Of being a candidate?
No, I don't think Raila will not be a candidate. And I predicted in 2022 that after we lose the election, I wasn't on his side. After we lose the election, we'll see BAMBA the 6th. I don't think that is something you can rule out. But however you want to talk about Raila Odinga, he will be determined the outcome of the 2022 election in a huge way. Particularly if he does the same what he did in 2002. Remember, by March 18, 2002, Raila ascends to be the Secretary General of the ruling party, KANU. And 5 months or so later, he's one of the most vocal opposition to Moi. Raila will do what is politically possible, what is politically rewarding to him, and what he thinks is going to enable him to position himself to power.
And if everything had to be constant, Prof, reflecting at his age as well, does he stand a mathematical chance of being on the ballot? But
Raila is not one of the oldest. Paul Biya at 92 has just been candidate in Cameroon. Joe Biden.
No, the arithmetics are quite different, isn't it? Paul Biya has been in power for nearly 40
Raila
years.
is only 80 years. He's very young and youthful. I think you remember his elder brother is counted as a Gen Z. He's representing the youth in certain quarters. So I don't think age is a factor. It is a question of what are you bringing onto the table? What difference are you going to make for the Kenyans under the current circumstances? So I don't want to be God and assume that I control the biology of people's lives. Know for sure is that I have a voice as a Kenyan, as a citizen, and a senior citizen at that, to say if you are not adding value or making a difference to the silence, please don't talk. If you're not adding value in politics, please go fishing.
Prof, let's talk of the opposition. A united, seemingly fronting opposition, comprising of many, among others, Wiper leaders Kalonzo Musyoka, DCP's Rigathi Gachagua, PLP's Martha Karua, PNU's Peter Munya, DP's Justin Muturi, is fronting itself as a united opposition.
Yes.
Each seemingly wanting to be a presidential candidate, though they signal that it's too early to suppose who will be the candidate. Is this a crowded opposition, Prof, at the very top?
I think the person to worry about it is William Ruto, because at least for the first time, we have a clear opposition. If you look at the horizons in 2002, as Moi was planning to exit, the opposition was not clear. Yes, Kibaki, Wamalwa, and Charity Ngilu had come together. There was Nyachai to the far end, but it was very clear that KANU was a crowded group. This time round, I think the opposition has one resolve. And because the masses, the opposition is not, I mean, the people are not following the opposition. The opposition is following the masses. Because the masses were the first one to be disillusioned. And therefore, take for example, by last year, I would say Kadidre, Rigathi Gachagua was not one of the most famous person in Mount Kenya. Today,
is he?
Today he is. He's of, I mean, we can rate him at 75 to 80% in terms of popularity within Mount Kenya. And if you go to Kambani now, that cousin thing is catching fire. So why is that? Because you are not convincing the masses to be opposed to or to be not to be aligned to the current administration, but the masses were already out there. So you are going to people who are ready. And if you are preaching to the converted. That is the setting. The assumption here is that the opposition is reading the people. It is not true. It is actually the people who are leading. That's why...
And Prof, is this the case then that the people will decide who they want as a presidential candidate and not a guarantee to the individuals whose names are...
That's what I'm saying. No. You see, the issue is that if they maintain their unity and give the people one leader, then there will not be disillusionment. Obviously, President William Ruto will also cobble together, you know, a coalition. Currently it's Kenya Kwanza coalition. But you can see the broad-based government is not as shallow as one would like. It brings in Jubilee people currently and ODM people. In other words, Kenya Kwanza, I mean not Kenya Kwanza, but Azimio as it was. So in short, we are playing true to our politics because we are a country constitutionally crafted to be on two rails. The government in power and the government in waiting. What I see in this group is a government in waiting, not necessarily an opposition. And I want to be in that government in waiting.
Prof, one final question because of the interest of time, and this is a question on the central region politically. President William Ruto came to office with a near total following of the mountain politically.
Yes.
Does he have a Herculean task in climbing that mountain politically for 2027?
I think he shouldn't even waste time climbing the mountain. It's too slippery.
You say so, Prof?
Yes, I said so. It is too slippery.
Why?
Because there's no need to lie to your leader. William Ruto is a leader in this country. And when Raila tried to climb the mountain, it proved a little bit slippery. He got Martha Karua in. They won a number of votes, but not enough to challenge William Ruto's hegemony. Never mind that Uhuru Kenyatta had thrown his whole weight and the weight of his government behind Raila. So at that time, we said that for Raila, it is a very steep and slippery climb. I think for Ruto, it's even a steeper and more slippery path this time.
And finally, Prof, I've often hosted you on this program, and I've introduced you many a times as a scholar.
Yes.
Tonight I have, weirdly enough, introduced you as the Deputy Party Leader, Strategy of the People's Liberation Party. Has Professor Peter Kagwanja joined PLP?
Yeah, I have, and I am in the executive. I'm also, assisting Mother as, as a deputy party leader in the end of strategy. There are other party leaders because we have to have a regional representation. I left Jubilee. I also went to Kibaki's party.
PNU.
Not PNU. Democratic Party.
Yes, DP.
And now I have found a home and I'm comfortable. And there are very many options in the air. Definitely I will not be, I'm not going to go to county assembly. Therefore, I'm not going to vie for MCA. Definitely, I'm not going to vie as a women leader. But every other option is open.
And does the party in which tonight we are its deputy stand a chance to front the presidential candidate?
I don't think there's a single party that will be said, but I think from what we know, Mother is one of the best positioned leaders, being the first woman, or the first woman now to vie as a deputy, and also the last man standing, if you remember 2008.
Fair enough. Professor Peter Kagwanja is a scholar and the deputy party leader of the People's Liberation Party. Prof, thank you very much for this quick chat of an interview.
Thank you.
And you're more than welcome in the future.
Appreciated. And you pray for us at PLP. We'll do great.
Just as we will pray for all the other parties.
Yeah, but on this one, I want to be selfish.
Thank you, Professor Peter Kagwanja is a scholar, the deputy party leader of the People's Liberation Party. You're watching TV 47. Let's continue with the